Leaving behind the ruined castle, Luminas and her men left for a new home. Naturally, Chloe also came along. Now that I think about it, why did my usurper disappear too? I'm not sure, but I think Hinata's power would always merge with mine at the end. Chloe paused at that. It seemed to be somewhat difficult for her to talk about. Judging from her attitude, Hinata could guess how that ended. Never mind, it's fine. It's only a matter of time. By the way, you stealing my skill after taking the name Chronoa from me is really similar to naming a monster. Or, wasn't it a bit rude? Ah, sorry, I meant no harm. Hinata can be so mean sometimes. What a waste of your beauty. No one's gonna fall for you like this. Shut up already, it doesn't matter since I'm already dead anyway. The two cheerfully bantered as they continued on their journey. After parting with Luminas and her men, Chloe actively used the identity of a hero just as she declared. Time passed. It was almost 300 years before their time leap when Veldora was sealed. Having lived for this extensive period of time, just like before, Chloe learned absolute severance and infinite prison. Hinata, with her unique skill mathematician, had also been supporting Chloe well inside her body. As this matched the timeline, Chloe casually declared. I'm going to seal Veldora now. This was what Chloe said after reuniting with Luminas. I see. I do recall you mentioning that. But are you really sure about this? Luminas seemed worried. Unlike before, now Chloe and Luminas were very close friends. There wouldn't be a problem. After all, I have Hinata with me. Chloe had also revealed Hinata's existence to Luminas alone. Luminas accepted another soul within Chloe very quickly. That's good to know. Just don't push yourself too much. Don't worry, I'll handle fighting with Veldora, Hinata said. It seemed that it was Chloe's first time hearing Luminas so bewildered. But Hinata didn't mind it at all and spoke in a firm tone. I actually fought with Veldora once. At the time. The situation then flashed through Hinata's mind. Kuhahaha. So weak, so weak. This is supposed to be humanity's guardian. Don't make me laugh. Phew, Kusiskusu, what is it? You can't get up already. How unbearable, the price I paid in no defeat. Alright then, it's about time for me to end this. I don't have that much time to play around. That was about how it went down. It was a rather humiliating memory for Hinata. Things happened. I'll have to give him a good beating to ease my grudge against him. Chloe could tell from her tone that she was serious. Luminas was serious too. I can understand your feelings. I would like to see that lizard bite the dust for once. I managed to make him show me every skill he had. This is a great opportunity. I'm sure we can use it to our advantage during battle. Hinata and Luminas happily discussed how to punish Veldora. In Chloe's memory of the future, Veldora had spent time playing with her, so she didn't hate Veldora as much. However, knowing how violent he was in the past, she didn't feel like defending him that much. I don't really know about your past grievances with him, but please hold back a little. Veldora-san is actually a very nice person. So in the end, Chloe let Hinata have her own way with him. During the battle against Veldora, Hinata was in full control. With Chloe's assistance, they managed to seal Veldora completely. Guwaya. Hearing Veldora's furious roar, the beautiful face behind the mask twisted with satisfaction. And with that, Hinata handed the control of the body back to Chloe. Chloe's time was about to come to an end. That point between past and present was approaching. I haven't mentioned this to you guys before, but I will be disappearing soon. Chloe, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Chloe had kept it a secret this whole time, but she intended to tell them now. The truth is, Hinata had half guessed this. Soon enough, Leon would appear in the history Hinata knew. Since Leon and Chloe were thought to have come to this world together, it would cause a special situation where two of the same person existed in the same era at the same time. If one were to take the multiverse theory as truth, the idea that new universes, including parallel worlds, emerged one after the other, yet also at the same time, then perhaps having two Chloes at the same time was plausible. However, if assuming there was only one world, Chloe's unique skill time travel was an abnormal case, to the extent that the notion of multiple worlds shouldn't be surprising. In any case, it was still hard to believe for Hinata. It was more logical to think that the world was being remade. Or else, if many versions of themselves existed in many worlds, Hinata and Chloe's efforts would be meaningless in the grand scale of things. If there is a world that will be saved, then there is another that will perish. Hinata found this idea hard to accept. That was why she made up her mind to end Chloe's endless cycle and save the world. It didn't matter if she had to be sacrificed in doing so. However, there was also a problem. And that was what Chloe had just said. By the looks of it, my theory seems to be correct. There really was only one world, and it did not allow the existence of a paradox. No, that's not entirely true. It's not that it doesn't allow the existence of a paradox. It just stops the world from collapsing. If there was something strong enough, such as the creation of the mask, then even the paradox couldn't destroy it, and instead only twist its existence. Otherwise, there's no way to explain the existence of the peculiar mask. Whilst relieved that a reasoning appeared sound, the thought of what would happen plunged Hinata's heart into darkness once more. She knew that what would happen next was entirely based on luck. Their fate would fall into someone else's hands. That's why I won't have memories from that moment on. I think Hinata will probably take over afterward and help save Shizue-sensei. Me too. So I can only come into play until my future self who doesn't know anything comes, right? What do you think would happen next? In the future, Luminas had always kept something very important to her. Now that Hinata thought about it, it was probably the sealed Chronoa. I vaguely recall losing control and going berserk. But that probably wasn't me, but a different personality. Hinata suddenly recalled her naming of Chronoa. The moment she gave Chloe that name, it robbed Hinata of her skill. It finally dawned on her that Chronoa might actually be something akin to a monster. Anyhow, Chloe will lose consciousness soon, right? That is probably what happens when two of the same entity exist at the same place in space-time continuity. Hinata, I believe your theory is correct. Right. And then, Chloe's younger self will be physically transported to that time period, since she'll have just been summoned. It would most likely be the case. That's why, Hinata, even though I know asking you to do something like this is. It's fine. After saving Shizue-sensei, I will go and ask help from Luminas-sama. Please leave it to me. I shall craft a Holy Ark using holy power to isolate you from the world. I will find your souls in the future myself, and then completely unbind the seal. Chloe, Hinata and Luminas. The three remained united in heart. All was entrusted to Luminas. After Chloe's consciousness disappeared, Hinata was alone. Apart from proving her theories to be true, she was also hit by a great sense of unease and pressure. She felt uneasy because she was lonely. On the other hand, she was pressured by a strong will raging within her body, attempting to take over their shared body. It was tiring suppressing this will. Chronoa is raging after its master Chloe disappeared. But I never imagined its power to be so strong. Despite her shock, Hinata bent it to her will with her steely resolve. Hinata went to Leon's castle and rescued Shizue, handing her the mask successfully. Now that this mysterious mask had been given to Shizue, Hinata had a major breakthrough. And even though Hinata couldn't show any of her yearning for Shizue, she traveled with her. Their journey, however, eventually came to an end. The day came where they had to part. While Hinata wanted to spend more time with Shizue, she could not do so. Perhaps due to the prolonged absence of Chloe's main personality, Hinata was beginning to have a hard time controlling Chronoa. If this were to continue, their plan could fail. And all of this would have been for nothing. In the end, Hinata bid farewell to Shizue according to the history she knew and went to seek Lumina's help. Hinata never truly found out what Chronoa was in the end. Instead, Luminas used her power to seal Hinata in the Holy Ark and saw, soon, she herself, completely ignorant of all their history, would come here. What would happen to the slumbering Hinata? If she were lucky, perhaps she would remain unaffected. But if not, the one to awaken first might be Chronoa. But even so, there had to be. I believe you will be able to find a solution, Rimuru. Reminiscing about that slime she'd missed, Hinata fell into a deep sleep with a smile.